Hi,
Can you hear me? Yes, I can hear you now.
I can hear you. Wonderful. Thank you, Lauren, for attending. Just like with the first session, Lauren, I'm going to start by going over our informed consent form.
Okay.
It says, I consent to video audio recordings being made of mock counseling sessions and to these recordings being used to aid in the growth of counseling knowledge and skills. I consent to the excerpts from these recordings or descriptions of them being used by the Grand Canyon University faculty and staff for the purposes of supervision, research, and or teaching. I understand that any part of a conversation that is recorded and or written down will be kept confidential. I will not disclose any information that may identify me in the mock counseling session recordings. The information given will be fictional and I will use an alias. I understand that Zoom will be used to record counseling sessions and that Zoom meets both HIPAA and FERPA confidentiality standards. I understand that if the recording of the mock counseling session activates any suicidal ideation or other potentially harmful thoughts, I'll reach out to a professional in my area immediately. Neither GCU, the college, nor the counseling student will be held accountable if I harm myself. Lauren, do you agree to electronically sign this document?
I do.
Thank you. So I'm going to check in with you and ask what you would like to talk about today.
Oh, I've been better. I've got a little bit of a cold. But the past couple weeks I've been apartment hunting. I know
Okay.
the last time we talked about my relationship with my boyfriend, I really took it to heart, and I've decided that we maybe need to have our own space, like a space for him and a space for me, because I I love him. Like, I can't imagine not being with him, but I do understand that maybe we could have a little space, but it is so hard to find a place of your own. I've been looking on Craigslist and Zillow and then in the newspaper. Everything is just so expensive. I don't know how people afford it by themselves. It's just really stressful because I feel like this is something I can do, but it's just one thing after another. It's not going very smoothly and I'm frustrated.
I see. And where has that left you?
I'm still living with him. I wish I could go back home with my mom and dad, but like they're really not an option. They just fight all the time, and they basically told me when I moved out that if I was gonna leave, don't come back. So
Okay.
that's where they
So
are.
it might not be a healthy choice in the long run if all that is surrounding you there is um, further fighting and further chaos.
Right. That's why I moved out in the first place. I couldn't wait to get out of their house. They were just fights every day. I can't go back there. Unfortunately, they're not an option.
So at this point, you're still living with your boyfriend. Are you considering staying with him?
Well, I tried to set my like self like a goal to like be out in a couple months, and it's already been 3 weeks. So I'm gonna try, but I guess you're right. If I don't find anything, then I guess you're right that I'll probably end up staying.
I see. Well, apartment hunting and branching out on your own can be very stressful. I definitely want to validate that. The cost of living, removing yourself from a relationship that you've grown accustomed to can be very difficult. On top of the just regular stress of setting up utilities and down payments, it can be hard. Tell me, Lauren, what do you think would be some of the benefits of staying in this relationship with your boyfriend?
Well, we love each other, of course, so companionship, but he's also like my partner. Like, we split the cost of everything. Like, and if I am short on something, I know he'll be there to like pick up any little extras. Like, he is that support for me. And he's my best friend. He's the one I go and I do things with.
Right. And I do think we touched on this a little bit last time. There was the companionship, and there was the financial benefit of having someone to split the bills with, which is understandable. But Lauren,
Right, because it's so hard to live on your own, like,
it is,
to buy your own food. It
right?
doesn't seem like a big thing. Your own laundry detergent. Like, do I want to like give up my laundry room?
I completely understand that those luxuries are hard, very hard to give up. But let me ask you something else. What are some of the cons? If you're going to be completely honest with me, what are some of the detriments to staying in this relationship?
I know my boyfriend can be aggressive, and I know he has a temper. And that's why I really thought, like, at least having our own space would be like a good start. Like, he might miss me a little. We could kind of see how things are without each other, not be in each other's face all the time.
Okay. What are some other cons to staying in this relationship?
Ending up like my parents and fighting until we're old and gray.
Yep, that definitely doesn't sound like a good option either. But
No.
what does your boyfriend make you feel in those moments where he is being aggressive and violent?
It's almost like it's not him and I'm not me. I
Mhm.
think I very much separate myself.
So a sense of detachment from the situation.
I would say so, yes.
And would you describe that as a good feeling or a bad feeling?
It's definitely a bad feeling.
Okay.
No
Okay.
one wants to tell you that their boyfriend's aggressive.
Mhm. Now, we've already discussed that your parents are not a good, quote unquote, good support system for you. Can you tell me about any additional supports you have in your life, extended family members,
No,
friends,
I
neighbors?
I have a lot of real I have great friends and I have a brother, but my friends, they're all already married or they have children. I don't think it's fair to like impose on someone else's family. Like, I'm sure any of them would be happy to have me, but I'm not sure I want to do that to them. I don't know. I feel like I'm a very private person when it comes to those things.
Are
And
you have any of them made any comments? Anyone in your support system? Have they ever
yeah,
made any comments to you about your boyfriend and your relationship?
yes, I have a younger brother. He is still living with my parents
Mm.
and we're very close. But if anyone talks to me about my boyfriend's behavior, it's him. And I think it's because he's still with my mom and dad that he can see the similarities more. And I'm always speechless when he brings it up because I can't deny it. We grew up together. We saw how my mom and dad's relationship was. And
And
he tells me all the time that I'm heading down the same path and I can't disagree with him.
how does that make you feel when he confronts you about your relationship?
Angry, but I also know it makes me a little bit sad because I know he's telling the truth.
Mhm.
He has been really trying to help me look for an apartment as well. Like, he's trying, but he's my little brother. I'm supposed to be taking care of him.
Okay. Well, you've made some interesting statements that I would like to dissect further with you as we continue in this process. Um,
Sure.
um, you've identified that you have other supports in your life, but you kind of feel like you would be an imposition to them if you were to reach out to them for help. It also seems like you have a good support system in your younger brother. However, you feel I'm sensing some uncomfortability in that you feel as if the dynamic should be switched. You are older sister, therefore you should be providing care and guidance and support to him, not the other way around. Am I correct in that assessment?
I don't want to be a burden to anyone. I feel like I chose to move out of my parents' house and I love my boyfriend. I'm not going to leave him. So this trying to create a little bit of space by getting my own place, it should be something that I can solve on my own.
Hmm. That's definitely something that I think, speaking of, something that's imposed upon us, is this concept that we are supposed to handle all of our affairs on our own. And so I would like to present to you, Lauren, um, reflecting upon um, where that may not be true. Yes, many times we are taught that we should be able to handle things on our own, but sometimes we need someone to hold our hand. We need someone to co-sign on a car. Sometimes we need a couch to surf on. And I'd like to further explore with you, not only just, you know, the cons that we discussed regarding your boyfriend and staying with him. On the one hand, you're telling me you love him. But on the other hand, during our last session, you said that you don't want to hurt anymore. You don't want any more broken arms. So I think that I would like to continue to discuss with you relationships and healthy relationships during our next session, if that's okay with you.
Sounds good. You're right. You're right. I do need to take care of myself first. I
Absolutely.
understand.
Lauren, I'm also going to submit some resources to you in your patient portal regarding some resources for individuals involved in relationships with some form of domestic violence. I'd like for you to check them out so we can discuss them during our next session, okay?
Okay.
All right,
Thank
thank you,
you.
Lauren. Have a good evening.
You too.
Thank you, bye-bye.